Imagine standing in your home, surrounded by a sea of things, clothes you haven't worn in years, gadgets gathering dust, papers you've been meaning to sort. Your phone buzzes relentlessly with notifications. Your calendar is a maze of commitments, and your mind feels like it's buckling under the weight of it all. You're exhausted, not just in body, but in spirit, yearning for a life that feels lighter, freer, and more meaningful. You're not alone in this. In our modern world, we're drowning in excess. More possessions, more noise, more pressure to keep up with a culture that equates more with success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, disconnected, or like you're chasing someone else's version of a good life. But what if you could release what's holding you back and embrace a way of living that's simpler, yet richer in joy and purpose? Today, I want to share 5 Japanese concepts: Danshari, Motainai, Wabi-Sabi, Ikigai, and Ma, that offer a timeless blueprint for mastering the art of living with less and loving it. These practices, rooted in Japanese philosophy, aren't about stripping your life bare or sacrificing what you love. They're about cultivating clarity, gratitude, and a deep appreciation for simplicity. Let's walk this path together, exploring how these ideas can transform your life into one that's intentional, fulfilling, and deeply satisfying. Let's begin with Danshari, a Japanese approach to decluttering that's as much about your mind as it is about your space. The word Danshari is made up of 3 characters: Dan, to refuse; Sha, to discard; and Ari, to separate. Together, they invite you to refuse unnecessary things, discard what no longer serves you, and separate yourself from attachments to possessions or habits that don't align with your values. In a world that glorifies accumulation, more clothes, more tech, more social obligations, Danshari is a quiet rebellion. It asks you to pause and consider: do you need all these things cluttering your home and heart? That overflowing wardrobe, those kitchen gadgets you've never used, the subscriptions you've forgotten about, they're not just physical clutter. They're mental and emotional burdens, sapping your energy and focus. Danshari empowers you to let go with intention, creating space for what truly matters. The benefits are transformative: a home that feels like a sanctuary, a mind unburdened by chaos, more time for relationships and passions, and even financial freedom from curbing mindless spending. By choosing less, you gain more: clarity, peace, and a life aligned with your deepest values. To practice Danshari, start small to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Pick one specific area: a drawer, a shelf, your email inbox, and set a timer for 15 minutes. As you sort through each item or commitment, ask yourself: does this bring me joy or purpose? Does it serve the life I want to live? If the answer is no, thank the item, a gesture rooted in Japanese respect for the energy objects carry, and let it go. Donate it, recycle it, or repurpose it thoughtfully. Be kind but decisive. Then, extend Danshari to your schedule. Are there meetings, social events, or habits you can refuse? For example, Could you say no to a draining group chat or an unnecessary newsletter? The challenge lies in overcoming emotional hurdles. Guilt about letting go, fear of needing something later, or attachment to just in case. When these feelings arise, remind yourself, true abundance comes from trusting you have enough. Picture Mia, a graphic designer whose cluttered apartment mirrored her scattered mind. Using Danshari, she cleared her space, keeping only what she loved or needed. Her mornings became serene, her creativity flourished, and she saved money by resisting impulse buys. To deepen Danshari, make it a monthly ritual. Choose a new area, your closet, your phone apps, your mental to-do list, and declutter with intention. You might journal about what you release and how it feels, noticing the lightness that follows. Danshari teaches you that living with less is not about loss. It's about liberation, creating a life that breathes. Now, let's explore motenai, a Japanese concept that carries a gentle pang of regret for waste and a call to cherish resources. It's the feeling you get when you throw out perfectly good food or replace a working phone just because a newer model exists. In Japanese culture, motenai reflects a profound respect for objects, time, and the environment, rooted in a history of resourcefulness and sustainability. In our modern throwaway culture, where fast fashion, single-use plastics, and planned obsolescence dominate, motenai is a powerful counterpoint. It urges you to use things fully, repair what's broken, and prioritize quality over quantity. By embracing motenai, you not only reduce waste, but also cultivate gratitude for what you have, easing the stress of constantly craving new or better. The benefits are far-reaching. You save money, lessen your environmental impact, and develop a mindset of abundance through appreciation. Motenai transforms living with less into an act of care for yourself, others, and the planet. To bring motenai into your life, begin with mindful awareness. Before making a purchase, ask, do I truly need this? Will it last? Choose durable, timeless items. A well-made coat, a sturdy kitchen tool, over cheap, trendy alternatives. In the kitchen, plan meals to use every ingredient. Turn vegetable scraps into broth. Freeze leftovers for later, or compost what's left. When something breaks, a shirt tears, a chair wobbles, try repairing it before replacing it. A simple sewing kit or a bit of glue can work wonders. Extend motenai to your time and energy. Are you wasting hours on mindless scrolling or overcommitting to tasks that don't matter? Limit one distracting habit, like checking social media during meals, and redirect that time to something nourishing, like reading or calling a friend. The challenge is resisting the convenience of disposability, which our culture normalizes. It takes effort to mend, plan, or repurpose, but the reward is a life that feels intentional and grounded. Imagine Sam, a student who used to buy trendy clothes every season, only to feel guilty when they piled up or fell apart. By embracing motenai, he shifted to thrifting, mending tears, and using items fully. His budget thanked him, and he felt a quiet pride in living sustainably. To deepen motenai, keep a weekly log of what you consume, waste, or save food, money, time, and reflect on small ways to improve. You might start a motenai project, like turning old jars into storage or repurposing fabric into gifts. Motenai shows you that living with less is not just practical. It's a way to live richly with gratitude. Let's turn to Wabi-Sabi, the Japanese art of finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence. Wabi-Sabi celebrates the worn, the asymmetrical, the fleeting. A chipped teacup, a fading flower, a rainy afternoon that won't last. Rooted in Zen Buddhism, it honors the natural cycle of growth and decay, seeing beauty in what's real rather than what's polished. In a world obsessed with flawless Instagram feeds, curated homes, and unattainable ideals, Wabi-Sabi is a soothing balm. It whispers, your life doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. That cluttered desk, those wrinkles from laughter, the quiet moments that slip away, they're all Wabi-Sabi, rich with meaning. By embracing imperfection, you release the stress of striving for not enough, finding joy in the present as it is, as the benefits are profound. Less self-criticism, more gratitude, and a heart open to life's transient gifts. Wabi-Sabi makes living with less feel like a celebration, not a compromise. To practice Wabi-Sabi, start by shifting your perspective. Walk through your home and find one imperfect item you cherish. A scratched table, a faded quilt, a mug with a tiny crack. Sit with it and reflect. What's its story? Why does it matter to you? Carry this mindset into your daily life. When something goes wrong, you burn dinner, miss a workout, or stumble in a presentation, pause and ask, what's beautiful about this moment as it is? Try a Wabi-Sabi ritual. Arrange a simple bouquet with whatever's outside, embracing its uneven stems. Or prepare a meal with whatever's in your fridge, savoring its quirks. Journal about a personal flaw you judge, perhaps your tendency to procrastinate, and reframe it as a sign of thoughtfulness or creativity. The challenge is defying society's obsession with perfection, which can make you feel inadequate or unworthy. Wabi-Sabi requires courage to love what's real, to see beauty in the cracks. Picture Lena, a photographer who hid her imperfect work, fearing it wasn't polished enough. Embracing Wabi-Sabi, she began sharing raw, unfiltered images, finding freedom and deeper connections with her audience. To deepen Wabi-Sabi, take a weekly walk and photograph or sketch something imperfect. A gnarled tree, a weathered fence, and write about its charm. You might create a Wabi-Sabi corner in your home, displaying items that tell a story of use and time. Wabi-Sabi teaches you that living with less perfection, less pretense, is a path to a life that's more than enough. Now, let's explore Ikigai, the Japanese concept of your reason for being. The quiet spark that makes waking up each day worthwhile. Ikigai is found at the intersection of 4 elements: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It's not always about grand, world-changing goals. Sometimes it's the simple joy of gardening, teaching a child, or crafting something with your hands. In a culture that measures worth by productivity, status, or wealth, Ikigai asks a gentler question. What makes your heart sing? Without Ikigai, life can feel like an endless to-do list, leaving you restless or unmoored. By aligning your life with your Ikigai, you infuse even the simplest days with purpose, making a life with less feel vibrant and full. The benefits are transformative: greater resilience, deeper fulfillment, and a sense of flow that turns mundane moments into meaningful ones. Ikigai shows you that living with less doesn't mean living without passion. It means living for what truly lights you up. To discover your Ikigai, carve out a quiet moment to reflect. Grab a notebook and draw 4 overlapping circles labeled what I love, what I'm good at, what the world needs, what I can be paid for. Write freely in each, without judgment, and look for connections. Perhaps you love writing, are skilled at storytelling, see a need for empathy in your community, and could freelance or start a blog. Don't worry if the overlaps aren't clear right away. Ikigai is a journey, not a destination. Experiment with small actions. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to a passion, like painting, volunteering, or playing music. Each evening, ask yourself, what felt meaningful today? Try a monthly adventure to explore your Ikigai. Take a workshop, join a community group, or revisit a childhood hobby like drawing or dancing. The challenge is overcoming self-doubt or the pressure to turn your passion into a paycheck. Ikigai doesn't always need to be a career. It can be a quiet joy that fills your soul. Imagine Ken, an accountant who felt his days lacked meaning. Through reflection, he discovered his Ikigai in mentoring youth. He began volunteering at a local school, and his evenings glowed with purpose, his stress fading as he connected with something bigger. To deepen Ikigai, share your passion with others. Start a book club, teach a craft, or post your creations online. You might keep a purpose journal, noting moments that feel alive and what they teach you. Your Ikigai is already within you, waiting to make living with less a vibrant, purposeful choice. Finally, let's embrace Ma, the Japanese concept of negative space. The pause, the silence, the stillness that gives life depth and meaning. In a traditional Japanese garden, Ma is the empty path between stones, creating balance. In a conversation, it's the quiet moment that deepens understanding. In your life, Ma is the intentional pause that allows you to breathe, reflect, and choose with clarity. Modern life is relentless, filling every gap with screens, tasks, or noise, leaving you frazzled and disconnected. Ma invites you to do less, but with more presence, to create space for what truly matters. The benefits are profound: a calmer mind, stronger connections with others, and a clarity that cuts through the chaos. Ma makes living with less feel spacious, not empty. It's the canvas on which a simpler, more intentional life is painted. To practice Ma, begin by auditing your day. Where are you rushed or distracted? Could you carve out a pocket of stillness? Try this tomorrow. Before checking your phone, pause for 5 minutes. Sit with your breath. Notice the light in your room and ask, What do I want to carry into this day? This small act of Ma sets a mindful tone. Throughout the day, weave in micro pauses, a deep breath before responding to an email, a moment to gaze at the sky between errands. At night, resist the urge to scroll. Instead, reflect on one moment of joy or gratitude. The challenge is overcoming the guilt of doing nothing in a culture that equates busyness with value. But Ma is where wisdom and peace are born. Picture Aiko, a chef whose days were a blur of orders and stress. By practicing Ma, pausing for a few breaths before each shift, she found calm and rediscovered her love for cooking. To deepen Ma, create a weekly ritual. Spend 20 minutes in silence, perhaps journaling, meditating, or sitting in nature, letting your thoughts settle. You might designate a Ma space in your home, a quiet corner with a candle or plant, to return to when you need stillness. Ma teaches you that living with less noise, less rush, creates space for a life that's full of meaning. Contrast these practices with the alternative, a life overflowing with things you don't need, driven by the relentless pursuit of more, chasing a perfection that never arrives. That path leads to stress, disconnection, and a nagging sense that something's missing, no matter how much you accumulate. The Japanese-inspired path, Danshari, Mottainai, Wabi-Sabi, Ikigai, Ma, offers a different way. It's not about having nothing, it's about having what matters. Danshari clears the clutter from your space and mind. Mottainai cherishes what you have. Wabi-Sabi embraces the beauty of imperfection. Ikigai ignites your purpose, and Ma creates the space to breathe it all in. Together, these practices transform living with less into an art form, one that's not about sacrifice, but about joy, freedom, and abundance. The difference is stark. One path weighs you down, while the other lifts you up, inviting you to love the life you're living. Embracing this way of life isn't always easy. Consumerism is seductive. Old habits are stubborn, and the fear of missing out or not being enough can creep in. You might wonder, what if I let go of too much? What if simplicity feels empty? These are natural fears, but they don't have to define your journey. Danshari gives you the tools to release what no longer serves you. Mottainai helps you value what remains. Wabi-Sabi teaches you to love the imperfect. Ikigai fuels your purpose, and Ma offers the pause to stay. Grounded. You're not aiming for a life with nothing. You're curating a life with meaning. Start small. To build momentum, choose one practice, perhaps 10 minutes of Danshari to clear a shelf, a Mottainai-inspired repair of a favorite item, or a Wabi-Sabi moment to appreciate something imperfect. Commit to it for a week, then layer in another practice. Share your journey with a friend or family member for accountability, perhaps discussing what you're letting go of or what brings you joy. Reflect each evening. What felt lighter today? What sparked gratitude or purpose? You might keep a simple journal, noting one small win or insight each day. Maybe it's the calm of a decluttered desk or the warmth of a repaired sweater. Over time, these practices will weave together, reshaping your life in ways you might not expect. You'll find yourself lingering over a morning coffee, savoring its warmth instead of rushing. You'll laugh longer with a loved one, unburdened by the need to check your phone. You'll feel at home in your space, surrounded only by what you love or need. Your days will feel less like a race and more like a rhythm, one that's uniquely yours. This is the art of living with less clutter, less stress, less striving, and loving it. It's not about perfection or rigid rules. It's about presence, about choosing what fills your heart and letting go of the rest. Imagine Hannah, a lawyer who once felt buried under possessions, obligations, and pressure. Her home was a maze of unused items, her mind a tangle of stress. She began with Danshari, clearing her space one corner at a time, keeping only what sparked joy or served a purpose. Motainai inspired her to mend clothes and repurpose jars, saving money and feeling connected to her choices. Wabi-Sabi taught her to love her quirks, the messy bun she wore on busy days, the chipped mug she drank from, and to see beauty in life's imperfections. Ikigai led her to rediscover her love for painting, spending evenings creating for the sheer joy of it. Ma gave her the gift of pause, a daily moment to breathe and reset. Today, Hannah's life is simple, vibrant, and deeply hers. She's not free of challenges, but she meets them with clarity and calm, living with less and loving it more than she ever thought possible. You have the power to create this kind of life too. It starts with one choice, one moment, one small step toward simplicity. Take a deep breath. Let go of the noise, the excess, the need to be more. You are enough, right here, right now. The life you're craving, a life of clarity, purpose, and joy, is within your reach. What's one small step you can take today to begin living with less and loving it? Trust yourself. The path is yours, and it's more beautiful than you can imagine.